So here we go with another video about the post-production of an image from 0 to 100. We're going to see today the image from the last masterclass is Giacomo image. And this is the raw render and then the final post-production, which I really enjoy. I really like it, even if there's a few things I would like to change and I would like to improve. Okay, so now we are doing a little bit of study on the image before actually going and doing the post-production. So let me see this. Let me tell you this. First of all, contrast. Okay, we were talking about contrast with Giacomo. So, okay, I like images with a little bit less contrast than you, but there's a thing that does really bothers me, and the fact that we have a strong contrast here on this area, which is kind of far away from the camera. And we have the same contrast here and here in this dark metal frame, which is correct. But then here, where we should have very dark shadow, we have something like that. And to me, I mean, it could be okay, right? It could be okay, but it bothers me a little bit. And I don't know if I feel like that my eyes can keep I mean, I feel like uncomfortable, okay, to me. And I would like to try at least to have a little bit more contrast here in this area, which is also a good idea, because if you are reading the image and you have a very dark area here, you're going to go further with the eyes, and you don't stop here. It's also true that we have here a very strong line going down, so this could be a problem, but at the same time is kind of this symmetric game. It creates this symmetric image, which is great, which is not perfectly symmetrical because we have this line which is not in the center. It's okay. Another problem with the image is this line going like a little bit down here, and it can be that you can just like go there with your eyes and go out of your image. So thanks God we have the sun coming from the right to the left again. So we need to put a little bit more of love here, a little bit more of attention there, because we need to be sure that if anybody look at this image, their eyes will should be there, should go there. Okay, it's okay, we have a little bit of bloom here, but we can increase it inside, maybe. I don't know, feel like we should try at least. Another thing that bothers me is these. Okay, you see, we have glasses, and the area inside the house, so behind the glass, is brighter than the one in front of the glass. This could not happen. Okay, and the reason is, first of all, inside the building we should have more shadow than outside. Okay, but even if we have the same amount of shadow, okay, even if glasses are never going to give you a brighter result, because you have the reflection, and in this case we don't say any reflection because we have the same amount of light inside and outside. And but the glass itself, okay, is not perfectly transparent. There's always a little bit of uh, because of the materials the glass is made from. There's always a little bit of a darkened result, I would say, when you go through a glass. And if you don't trust me, just look at any glass close to you, but you need to look at the glass from the outside to the inside, and there should be no reflections at all, like this one. Okay, this happens normally when you are in front of a glass and you cover the reflection with your body, and so in that area you will see it's really dark. It's really dark. So this is not happening. Okay, and it's the same principle of when you look at a mirror. Okay, the light, the energy that of the light bouncing on the mirror is always greater. Sorry, is always weaker than the original light amount. Okay, and that's because when the light bounces on an object, not every the amount of reflection is never 100%, because a little bit of light, a little bit of energy from the light pass through the object, stay within the object. That's why we have heat. That's why, if you're wearing a black t-shirt, it get heat a lot, it get warm instantaneously when you go out in the sun, because very, very few rays of light were bouncing off that shirt. That's why it looks black to you. Okay. And a lot of lights, a lot of rays stays inside the shirt, and that's because that's why it turns hot. And a little bit of also energy run through the surface, and then you have a little bit of light bouncing off the surface. So if you place yourself, if you stay in front of a mirror, your reflection is always darker than the original one. And if you don't trust me, you can just go in front of a mirror with a white piece of paper, and place the piece of paper just on the mirror, and you will see that the reflection of that paper will be darker than the actual paper. Okay, just a little bit darker, not too much. Probably if you look at the thing from far away, you don't understand the difference, but there is a difference. Okay, so this is wrong, and we should make this darker. Okay. And also, I don't know, I feel like this is a good idea. This was a good idea to have a little bit of dirt on the ceiling and a little bit of dirt here. We can try to make a trick to duplicate the reflection, in order to fake the double glazing, which is nice. And then here this area here is too clean probably, and I don't know why this part is dark and this part is white and this part is like gray. And it's the same shader, so it should be a little bit more in line with the color. And here we have the reflection. I like this reflection. I like the bump on this water, but we should try to have a little bit of blur here and there, because now I feel like it's too sharp. But it's a personal thing. And here we can try to add maybe, I don't know, a little bit more fog here in the back, or I don't know, it's a very strong light, so we can have a little bit of I would say volumetric rays passing through the image from the right to the left. I don't know. So let's start with this with the start file, and here we have the render. So we have the 32-bit inside here, and I feel like we can even go inside 32-bit and go down with the exposure a little bit, because this part is going white, but it's up to you. And here we have some passes, so let's check the passes as a first thing. We have the source color, which are the basically the textures. We are missing a lot of things here because Giacomo forgot to add the option to add the transparency to the glasses. So basically every pass now, every pass is, not everyone, but almost every pass is wrong. And it's part of the job. It's part of the job. Sometimes you need to work with what you have, and you need to find a solution with what you have. Let's see this. This is the Corona Sun, and this is the environment. So you can even recreate the entire image with these two layers, because if you take the Corona Sun, and this is something you should do while you are in 32-bit, because in 16-bit is like it's too late. But and if you want to do this in 32-bit, you can basically put the sun on top of the environment light in linear dodge add. But if you do this in 16-bit, like I am doing right now, you see some areas are overexposed, and it could happen in the 32-bit too. But in the 32-bit too, you can just add an exposure adjustment on top of this and change the exposure, which is not something we can do in a very good way. Even if it works here, I mean, this is not the best way, because in 16-bit, exposure is something that you should not work with. Probably is working now because actually we are not deleting any information. We are just going down with the exposure. So we are hiding an information, but there is something on the back at the bottom layer with more informations to reveal. So it works just because, you know, we are working with 2 layers, not with just 1 layer. Okay. And because of this is in linear dodge, and so everything dark is going away. But anyway, in 16-bit, you should try with the screen mode. Okay. And as you can see, if I hide the passes, you see it's quite the same. Not exactly the same. Maybe we are missing some volumetric. We are actually missing some volumetric. So, but you can make the image again with these 2 passes. Of course, my advice is, if you have to do that, do it in the 32-bit, not in the 16-bit, and because you have more control. That's it. Okay. So, but this is cool. You know, the fact that we can have the image in 2 different layers allow us to change the color of, I don't know, maybe the sun, or the color, saturation, and etc. of just, you know, the environment, which is basically the light coming from the sky. And you know, you can really, you know, make a different image. You can just go down with the screen, you see, make the sun strength a little bit, you know, less powerful. And you know, this is a nice thing to have, because then you can make another exercise. Okay, like let's turn this image into something like night, you know, a night image. So you have the color lookup, you can go night from day, and you see you have something which is very dark, maybe too much, maybe is a little bit too saturated. But you see, it looks like we have the same image, but like in the late evening, and we can start popping some light in black layer, color dodge, and painting them. So really, we have a lot of possibilities, because we are rendering these 2 layers here, these 2 passes. Okay. Then we have the interactive, which is Giacomo test in Corona, because in Corona you can just play with different lights you have in the scene, and you know, change them in, you know, in real time to see what is the result you want. And from this pass here, I can see we have the bloom. So I don't know if we have the bloom from other passes, but we will see. And then we have the reflection. And this is the reflection. This is the normal reflection. This is the average reflection, which is cool because it gives you an idea of the amount of reflection that you really have in the scene, okay? Which is totally different from this one, the raw component reflection, which is basically the reflection, with 100% strength. You see, there's a lot of difference between this and this. And of course, if you can tell something from this difference, is that reflection is stronger when you look at things on the side, which is exactly, you know, what the Fresnel is, okay? The strength of the reflection depends on the view angle. So you will see more reflection when you look at, you know, an object on the side. And so, you know, it's there and we can use it. And then we have the translucency. This pass is very cool because you have these greenish, you know, very vivid, very I would say realistic and, you know, powerful result from the plants. And normally I use this to enhance a little bit the color of the trees or the vegetation, and I really love this one. Of course, you cannot use just as it is. I mean, you can, but you know, it will override completely the vegetation you have. Okay, and of course, you have to mask this one. And then we have the volumetric, and I mean, I feel like there's something wrong here because the volumetric is big. They're basically stopping here. I don't know. Maybe there's a tree here, and is I don't know, is blocking the volumetric thing at one point. I don't know, but when I see something like this, I immediately try a few things because I want to see if I have enough informations to work with. So I'm going here, I put a curve, attach the curve, and I'm trying to, you see, just increase the strength, the contrast, and I'm getting this very cool result. Maybe we can use this in the future. I don't know. Maybe we want to, you know, make the light stronger, the light reaching the building a little bit stronger, or maybe we want some red, result to justify a the red reflection there. And then we have the normal shading, which is the one that we can use to select a part of the image depending on the, let's say, direction of the faces, or we can just use to add more light or more shadow with the trick I show you in one of the videos. And here we have the albedo, which is, I don't know, shading albedo. This is basically all the textures, but in black and white. Doesn't really bothers me. I don't use it. And here we have the raw total lighting, which is the raw component diffuse. And this is a shame because you see it's black in the in any transparent material. This is really a shame, but we can use this for the vegetation because at least it works there. And then we have raw reflection and raw refraction, even if raw refraction is kind of wrong in the water, because I expect to see just the the base of the swimming pool, not some sort of mix between the base and the reflection. I don't know, it's weird, but we can use this anyway in order to, I mean, if you want to rebuild the pool from scratch. Okay, I don't know if we're going to do that, but we can see. Okay, so now that we have take a look at the passes, we can start. Okay, and here we have the masks. So let's see this. Okay, here we have the render, and I can double click on the render and open it. And here we have a 32-bit, you see, and I just go down a little bit with the exposure because I want to kind of get rid of this white area here. So we can go down with the exposure, or we can go up with the gamma. But as you can see, if you go up with the gamma, everything becomes too contrasted. So I will not do that. Okay, I will just go down a little bit with the exposure and keep the gamma as it is at 1. If you double click on an arrow, it gets back to default, basically. And so here we go. I'll keep this one like this. So here I have no white anymore, no white whatsoever, and I save and I press yes. Now there's a problem here in this file. The sky is in the image. So what we need to do if we want to add some clouds, well, we need to mask this, and inside this you see area, inside this folder, there's a mask for the sky. I mean, normally I would do that. So I would take this mask, Control-A, Control-C, go back in the layers, go back in the 32-bit and add this mask to the channel and mask this directly here. Okay, because the reason why we're doing this, because there is a problem here. The problem is the sky is not black, and is kind of cyan, is of the natural color of sky. And so if you want to add your own sky from Photoshop in compositing like this, sky should be black. And the reason is black is the only color that you can use and not get any problem here on the fringe of the trees. Okay, if you have black and then you have XR.io, the software I told you to download, it will automatically cut out the sky and all the trees will look amazing, and then you can just put a sky and at the bottom and it will work. But in this case it's a problem because the sky is not black, the sky is blue, and so there's no way. I mean, we can try, but trust me, it's not going to work well. Anyway, if you have to mask something, the best way to do it is to mask it in the 32-bit. I'm talking about taking away the background from something, okay? The 32-bit is the place to go, okay? Because you have more informations, it will look better. The fringe, so the border between the image and what you put behind the image, it will look better. This area here, okay? And remember, to do this, you can just make a copy of it. Of course, the layer should be rasterized, and I don't know why we have a smart object inside a smart object. Maybe Giacomo did some funny things. So I rasterized the layer. I keep this one as a backup, okay, in case I did something wrong. And then you need to right click, apply layer mask, and here we go. And before we go over, we put at the bottom we put a black layer. Or we cannot paint with, we can fill. So Shift F5, black. You see, that's the problem. That's the problem I was talking about. The fringe on the border there, and it's terrible. And the only thing you can try to do is to select this area, okay? Select this area here, and then go for a layer. Sorry. Oh, we cannot do that if you have a selection. Let me see. No, we can. So we need to do this in the entire image. Normally I take this and I copy the selection onto another layer, because if you work like this and you have some glasses here, it will ruin the glass. The fringe will basically broke every glass you have, which has nothing in the background, okay? So don't do it, the fringe, if you have something, I don't know, like if you have a glass here and behind the glass you have the sky, don't use the fringe. But in this case, I will go matting the fringe and see what happens. 1 pixel is enough. And you see, it looks a little bit better, but not as good as it should be, okay? And that's why Giacomo forgot to put a black sky in the background in Corona before rendering. How can you do that? You go in the render setup, and there is an option in the scene tab that you tell you, okay, override direct, visibility, and you should put a black color there, okay? And that's it. Don't touch reflection, don't touch refraction, just the direct visibility. And then you end up with a file with the render with the black sky. You don't care actually, because the lighting comes from the environment tab, or maybe comes from the sun. And if you have an HDRI, you have the HDRI in the environment tab anyway. If you have a sun and sky, the sky should be in the environment tab as an HDRI. So, but this is common things to do in Corona. Everybody knows that, hopefully. So, I mean, now what to do? Well, I don't know, because if we keep this, then the only thing that we need to do is to put a sky here to replace the actual sky. And we need to be sure that the values here match the values of this blue on the fringe. So, I mean, it's up to us, okay? We can do this, or we can just keep the image as it is, like this, with the sky, and then inside the 16-bit, put some, sky over the image. I know it's weird to have the sky on top of the image, but sometimes we need to break the rules, and we can have just some clouds there, okay? So it's up to you. I really like the version with the sky behind the image. I don't know. It feels it's better, and it makes more sense to me. But again, remember black sky when you render. And when you go down in the frame buffer, you have the drop down menu with all the passes. Check the alpha. The sky should be black even in the alpha. So now we'll Control D, and I'm going to find a picture for my sky. So let me find it. I need to go into my own folder. Let's give me a second. Sorry. You can go and search for your own photos. Meanwhile, you are waiting for me. So go photos, skies, and here we go. Let me see if we can find something with the right lighting. I mean, I like even this stuff here with this kind of, you know, very lazy clouds like this. So I'm bringing the photo in. You keep 16-bit, yes. Maybe a little bit less saturation. Okay, and I press Alt and I press OK. So when I press Alt, I just you know, don't modify the original one. I just open a copy of it, and so now I can just, you know, just scale this up and put it behind the render. And of course, this goes into a sky folder. And we should match the horizon, which I think is in the center of this image. Should be somewhere here, the horizon of the render. And so we should, you know, match the horizon of the sky here, the horizon of the real photo. So I'm just making it a little bit bigger. You don't have to be pixel perfect, okay? I want to be clear about that. Okay. Okay, cool. And as you can see, it's too dark. Okay, so let's go here, curve, touch the curve. You don't need to touch this, but you know, because there's nothing below, but it's a kind of a habit. And so here we can just go up with this or up with this. It's even better. You see? And now we have something that gets some, we have some clouds there. Okay. All right, so now that we have some clouds, we can start working on, I don't know, let's work on, let's do something different from what we normally do, because actually this is how I normally work with images. I do the finalization folder, and you tell me, Roberto, are you crazy? The finalization should be at the end. Nope. Sometimes I like to do it at the beginning, because I want to know where I'm going with my image. Okay. So of course I'm trying to do some, you know, contrast and to see how it will look like. And I see that, you know, I need to contrast this very well. Okay. Maybe it's too dark, but at least we are making some differences. And then we should have some very strong, see, brightness there. But at the same time, this area should be stronger than this area. So we know we need to fix that thing, okay? And also, I would say I want this to be slightly like more saturated. So I'm going with the use duration. I'm changing to reds. I'm increasing this. You see a little bit like this. Maybe a little bit more orangey. See? I'm not going, these are not the real finalization. This is just, you know, a test I'm doing, and just to see if I like what I see, okay? So, or you can even go, if you feel like you don't have time and if you're lazy, you can go with some color lookup and try, you know, some preset. But these stuff, you can make this stuff with some curves, you know. You don't need, oh, this is cool. This is cool. This is pretty cool. This film stock 50. I feel like I also think that you can find many more. Also, this one is cool. A lot of LUTs to import on internet, or you can do your own. I think. So anyway, I would like to do a night version of this image. Oh, even this one is cool with a little bit of green. Okay, so let's start now from, so we know that we are going to add some contrast for sure. We know that we are going to add some saturation here for sure. And who knows now? We need to fix this. We need to fix this area here, you know, this brightness, and we need to see if we do something here in the swimming pool. So let's start with vegetation. Normally, what I do is I like to start with things far away and then come closer to the camera. This is my way. You can do, you know, the other way around. So I will add an adjustment folder, and inside here I will add another folder which is called trees. Let's go for the mask of the trees, which is this one, the red one. Red. So control click on the mask channel and hide the mask, and then finally add the mask as a selection to the trees, and here we go. And then now we can start playing with, I don't know, passes. So let me go inside here. I'm going to make a copy of the translucency and a copy of the row component diffuse, and maybe a copy of, let me think, a copy of the Corona Sun, because maybe we want to have some you know, more light where the sun touched the trees. So we take these three passes, we press Ctrl J, and so we make a copy of them and we put them into the trees folder. Now, what can we start with? We can start with the row total lighting, okay, which is this one, the row component diffuse, and we can put this in soft light or overlay. Let's say soft light, and let's go down with the opacity a little bit, and let's see before and after. See, we restore a little bit of contrast here to the plants, and let me think here with a little bit of translucency if we can add. Let's try different blending modes. Don't be afraid of trying blending modes. You should try. Is the only way to know if you can get a new you know, result. Nobody can you know, predict what will happen. You may have an idea, but you know, you should try, and without you know, problems. Saturation, color, let me see, is restoring a little bit of the original color of the plants. Okay, let me think. Let me see if we can have a little bit of screen mode is making them brighter. I don't know, I feel like we should have this for the color. I don't know, I like this color here, maybe not here, so I will mask this out. I'm doing this exercise with you, so I mean, there's nothing is scripted here, okay? Because it's a brand new image. We just finished the masterclass last week, and I really like this image, so I wanted to share it with you and see if we can improve it a little bit. And now we can have the sun. Okay, and the sun is not in screen mode because I used to have it in screen mode, but I want to actually, you know, let me see if we can keep it in soft light and make it darker, a little bit darker, like this. I mean, soft light and overlay will keep also the dark areas. Soft light is basically 50% weaker than overlay, which is nice. So here we go. So let's see a little bit like before and after. Before and after. Okay. So we add a little bit of contrast for sure. You know, because this is like before it was, you know, probably there was too volumetric on top. We can restore them. I don't care. It's just a way to, you know, play with this informations. And here we have the sun. We can even try to put a little bit of a color balance to the sun and make it a little bit like reddish. Let me see. It's not working that much. Nope. So let's have a color balance on top of the entire thing, so not linked to it. And we can have a little bit of blue here and shadows like this. And maybe we can have a little bit more of red in the top on the top here, so I can mask out this color balance. I can just gently paint black in this area like this, or we can use the ZDAP, or we can use the volumetric to mask this in a better way. So we have this thing here. Okay, cool. And now we can try to add a little bit of light there. So we can try with the pass. Let me see if we have here we go, volumetric. We make a copy of the volumetric. We bring it out and we bring this in again, and we put this in, screen mode. Let me see. Screen mode, maybe low opacity, and we can put a curve on it, because with a curve we are going to make it disappear from the front, see, and make it stronger on the back, see, something like this. Cool. I feel like we are missing some ZDAP even in the last trees. So we may add, just like we can take the color of the sky from here, you see, and then just paint with a very, 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 very subtle brush here on the top. See, maybe not that subtle. See? And maybe we go down a little bit, and then we do this again. You see, this is the right way with a smaller brush. See, little by little. If you the rule is, if you see the stroke of the brush, you made it wrong. You should see no strokes, no brushes, but everything should be very soft and mixed together, I would say. And so this is it. I mean, I'm feeling we are missing some, stronger contrast here, because maybe this plant is closer to us than this one. Let me see if we can do a quick mask with the volumetric one. So here we have the volumetric. You see, this is what I was telling you. So let's put this black and white. And let me see if I can mask out. Let me see. Yes, see? So now if we are working, if you are using these masks, we can just select, the last trees. So how to make a mask? Control Alt Shift E, and once you have this one, you go to the channels, and you can control click, or if you want, if you make this one, it's because you want to make it into a channel. So Control A, Control C, the new channels, Control V, and then you have the mask here, and it's ready wherever you want it. Okay, so we hide this stuff now. We don't need this anymore. We need the selection, and this fog here could be inside a group, inside the trees group, and mask it with this selection. So every time we paint inside here, it will just go over those two trees in the back. And so I prefer to do this again. Okay, so I will paint again, and maybe I will paint on a lower area here. Okay, it's always better to paint fog pretty low. See, it gives you a better result. I don't know why, probably because fog is more visible when it's low, or because it gets more transparent when it gets higher. I don't know. really. But I found a lot of pictures like this, so I'm just copying the picture. I'm not asking myself why is doing it. Okay, and then you can see. Try this again. I mean, increase decrease the opacity, so we don't need this anymore. I know this isn't normal because I'm faking the color of the sky there. We can use a screen, but it's going to make it even brighter. I don't know if I want that. Okay, and maybe it's too much. Maybe it's too much. Maybe I just want to have a little bit of it in there. And I mean, if we have a lot of fog, we should have a lot of fog even here, probably in front of these three. So we need to make another mask. Okay. But again, I think we exaggerated a little bit with probably this one. You see, this one is exaggerated. So we can just go and make it less strong. And I feel the sky should be brighter too. So I'm going here, and we can even put an Shift F5, black layer, color dodge as usual, and then with the very 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 subtle brush here, just click a couple of times, and we get a very bright spot there, which is completely okay for me, and this is it. So here we go. And for last, here on the trees, we may think about having a little bit of red color, in the on the right part, because we have the sun reaching out from there, but we can do that at the end. Okay, and now let's see before and after. Okay, cool. And now we can work on this part here. So this is the pool side, and we need to find a mask for that. We will see. Do we have it here? Let's go. Green. Control click on the green channel, hide the mask, add the selection as a mask to the group, and then we can go back to the project folder, because we have some images. We can get some dirt maps, and we can start using some dirt maps on there. Okay. You can even use the warp if you want, but it's not that easy. You see, you just place the texture like roughly in the position you need, and then with the warp you kind of rotate it, right? Even here you can, like you see, make a little bit, bend it, and then press OK. And of course I want this into the right group. Here we go. The other thing is the reflection you see in the water, so we need to fix that in the water pool folder. But this stuff here will be in darken. Oh, let me see, multiply. Yeah, multiply. Let's go down with the opacity. See? And again, don't think you can do such a thing, good result with just one pass, okay? You need multiple things, multiple passes, multiple decals, okay? And you need to be, patient, and you need to work little by little if you want to get nice results. And you try different blending modes and see what happens. And multiply is very dark, but at the same time we can go down with the opacity, see, and solve the problem. And it's also true that we can, paint a little bit of shadow, because I feel like that we should have this area a little bit darker. So I'm taking a very dark and big brush. Going down with the opacity, it's already down, but maybe less, like this. See, and I'm painting here just to have, see, this area here a little bit darker than this area. And of course, we need to match the reflection, but this is something we can do in any moment, okay? Maybe even a little bit dark, a little bit more greener. So we can have a little bit of green like this. See? A little bit of yellow and green and red. Maybe too much. I will go down with the opacity to 50%. All right. Now let's go on the pool, so the water. And let's do, let's find the mask of the pool. Here we go. Back to the mask. Add the selection as a mask to the group. And here I would go immediately with the contrast, okay? Immediately with some contrast. And of course, we need to select that area and make it darker, okay? So how can you do that if you don't have the mask of the reflection? Well, there's a trick. You can, in this case, you can click on the mask of the pool size, you see, and then go down, or pressing Shift, you see, you can go down and you can just go here to select a transform selection, right click the store, and then you can just take this and move it a little bit down. You see, I mean, it is not perfect, but it's something. So now you have a better selection. And you don't care if you go over this, because we are in the water mask, so we don't see this as a problem. And we go for a curve, so we go down. See, with this, remember that the reflection should be always darker than the original object. So we have a little bit darker reflection, but now it's too red. So we can take the same color balance we had in the pool side and just press Alt and duplicate it in here and link it to the curve we just did. And so here we go, and we have something a little bit more accurate, more in line what we have. Remember that we darkened only this area of the border, not this one. So you should this one is too dark, so we can take these 2 layers, Control G, make a mask. Remember, we are always inside the water group, and then mask this away from there. See? And here we go. So now we have poolside and water. We have before and after, and it's okay. We can add a little bit more of contrast even in the water there. So we can open the water here and add a little bit more contrast. And I will do something very, very strong, something like this, just because I want to see how it looks like, okay? Maybe we don't need the contrast at the end of the image. We are already contrasting the entire thing while working. But now we have a darker, vegetation so the original reflection should be darker. That's why we're doing this. Okay, that's why we're doing this, and we can also add a new layer. Shift F5, black. Color dodge, and we can take a little bit of the color we have here and paint in here, see, just to have a little bit of brightness that match the brightness of the original photo. Now this should be done very, very, very subtly, okay, little by little. So lowering the opacity should be the way, okay. And because you don't want to see any stroke, any painted stroke. So I will even go from left to right, and see. So the difference is there. It's now very visible, but it should be done in more than just one pass. And if you feel like it's too much, you can always go down with your opacity. That's why we're doing this stuff in many layers, so you can decide the opacity of what you do, little by little. Now let's go for the we're going back to the swimming pool for sure, but let's go here and fix the ceiling. So let's add a new folder, mask. That's it, the blue one. Even if it's wrong, because this is not complete, we should add this one. We should add the mask of the glasses, even if they are not the the reflection. Sorry, the mask of the glass. If we add the mask of the glass, is not 100% perfect, because some glass goes on top of other things, not just the ceiling, as you can see down there. Okay, so we can just find a way to mask only where we want. So we can just go back in mask and go for and search for the mask of the glasses, like this one. Control click on the red, for example. And now let's go back in here. You see? And while you still have the selection, because you can see the lines, the ant line here going back and forth, you can say, okay, I don't need this selection from there. So I select the red rectangle marquee tool, and I go with the Alt button where I don't need this, like here. Okay. So this is a good trick. This is a good idea. I control everything else, and it's good to me. So I add this to the mask of the group with the white color, Shift F5, white. See? And then I should add also these area here. So I will go and search for the mask of the glasses, if we have it, hopefully. Here we go. But we don't have the mask of the glass. We have the mask of the glass plus the mask of the frames. Bad thing. That's okay. Rookie mistakes. Even in post-production, start from the 3D software. Okay, if you have the right masks, then it's a lot better. It's a lot easier. Okay, so now I need to make a intersection. So I will press Alt Shift to make an intersection with this, and then I press Alt to hide the frames from this selection. Here we go. And then the lasso tool, the polygonal lasso tool. So I just this. And this. And here we go. We have the right mask now, and I can add this mask, this selection, to the ceiling mask, filling it white. So now that we have the right mask, finally, I would say I would just add a curve on top and inside it and make it darker, you see, and it works perfectly. But now what I'm trying to do is this. I'm trying to match, you see, first of all, I'm trying to match the same gray in here, or maybe the inside should be a little bit darker. So what I'm trying to do here is to make it a little bit darker, like this. Okay, that's it. Then I invert the mask, Control I, so the effect disappear, and I can paint with a white color, okay, only where I want the effects. See? And if you want to be more accurate, just go down with the size. But remember that these effects should be blends with the other in a better, in a nice, smooth way. So you see? Okay, cool. I would say that this new shadow is too dark, so I will go back in here, you see, and work with this while, and stop when it's matched. It's a little bit like reddish because we have a little bit of red inside, and here we have the blue from the sky reflected on the ceiling. So it's okay to have a little bit, of blue in here and a blue or a little bit of red in there. I don't know if you see the difference. There is a slightly difference, but anyway, it's okay. It's okay to have it. Okay. And now, because I want to see if we are missing some reflection there, I mean, those glasses should be kind of thick. So the thicker the glass, the stronger the reflection it is, and the darker it will be, the refraction. So I'm just curious. So I'm going back on the masks, and I'm going for, this mask here, red. Control click on the channel, back on the mask here, back on the layers, new group. Assign this as a mask, and these is like top glasses. Here we go. And I can just, make them a little bit darker. Maybe just a little bit. All right. And then let me see if we have something here in the reflection. So this is the original reflection. Yeah, we have something. We have something. Let me try. Let me see the reflection, the total reflection. Now this is way stronger. Let me use this one. So Control J. Let me put this one inside here. Let me hide the passes. Remember that if it looks okay here, it looks okay here. Okay, the navigator is vital to understand if we're doing it right or wrong. Because when you look at the image in a smaller version with less details, you can see the image, the overlook, and if the overlook is correct or not. So let me go back in here and let's try different blending modes. I would say that normally overlay is the one, or multiply. Now, overlay is too dark, but we can try this. We can try to put a curve on top of this, attach to this, and then make it brighter. Yeah, but it gets red. I like it here, but I don't like it here. So I would go for a huge saturation, and then I will go down with saturation. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, I like it. I like it, but I will immediately delete it from here because, we are more frontal here than here. So it does make no sense to have a strong reflection there. And even here, but here it doesn't. I mean, it looks cool. You have, this bright result. I pretty like. Then we can. I don't know. We can make this glass a little more bluish. Maybe going down with the reds and the green. Okay, we definitely have to make something here where the glass touch the ceiling is too clean. Okay, so I will go here, back in here, and I would try to find a decal. And we'll put it in here, and then distort, and we should put this in perspective, so something like this. Here we go. I know that even if we have perspective here, don't use perspective, use distort. Distort gives you more control. Perspective is right if something is already in sort of, frontal perspective and you need to adjust it slightly, but this works a lot better. Okay, Let's go with this. And now we can just make a different, blending mode. Multiply is pretty dark, probably too much. So let's take multiply, but I want this to be like down with the opacity. See? And here we need to fix that. It looks like this image is distorted. So I'm going to use the warp. Okay, cool. So let's mask this one, because in the end here we have a small area where there should not any dirt there. That's it. And we can continue to do this many times. Like, I don't know, with other decals. The start. You can even make it smaller. I mean, you can even instead of going down to the final thing, you can stop before that if you want. I will just go down to this point. Here we go. And I can see this is not straight, so I will go for a warp, and I will just take this central part here and bend it a little bit. Yes. Yeah, there's something wrong in here. Something weird. But we can fix it easily working with the warp. All right. Very cool. Change multiply. Okay, cool. And remember that if you want, you can go down with the opacity, you can mask it if it's too visible, somewhere. It's up to you guys. So I don't know. I don't think your clients want to see dirt in your images, but as soon as you work with it very subtle way, they will not understand, and they will also like the image more, I believe. Mask. Now we can go with the focus of the image, which is this wall here. There we go. Luminosity. And a little bit of color balance, maybe. Yep. And I don't know, maybe a little bit of vibrance. Okay. Let me see if we have something in here. Well, we have the interactive with the bloom, but we can add this at the end. Okay, cool. Same stuff for the floor. So if we have the same kind of adjustment, we can even add, we can even duplicate the folder and then delete the mask and then, add the right mask there. So I'm going for the floor mask, which is here, channels blue. And here we go. And maybe just a little bit too strong, so we'll go down with the opacity a little bit. Okay, cool. Let me go back in here, because we can add black layer and color dodge. Take the color here, or maybe color of the sun. I mean the sun is pretty low, so it should be pretty orangey. Now with opacity, I want people to look here, so this is what I'm going to do. See? That's it. Same for the floor. Shift F5, color dodge. Oh, but this is at 49%. This is not good. So if you're working with color dodge, the layer should be, the group should be at 100%. So instead of going with the group at 49%, you select the previous adjustment and you go with those at 49%. 50, let's say. So this could be 100%. So if you want to, delete the color dodge, you don't delete the color dodge, you just paint black. See? This is the trick. Let's add a little bit of anisotropy. We paint the specular like this. Okay, cool. Cool. Glasses. Mask. Here we go. Okay. This part here in the front looks too dark, so, and it's weird because it's in light. So let me take this area here, see, and make it brighter. Luminosity. Okay, cool. Let me see if I can add a little bit of yellow. How can you add a little bit of yellow? With a curve, we already have a curve, so we can just go into the curve, blue channel, and you go down with the blue channel. And you should go down with the blue, and you get more yellow. But you need to keep this in normal, otherwise luminosity will not allow you to see yellow. Wow, it's already yellow. Which means that this effect is affecting too much the color. So let's keep this in luminosity. And let's keep the same, selection to add a little bit of yellow with the color balance. Yeah, a lot better, a lot better. Not too much, not too much. Okay, cool. Now let's fix this border of the swimming pool. So let's add a new group. Pool border. And then let's find the right mask. This one should be the one. Click on the blue channel, control click on the blue channel, back on the layers, and then add the mask. And first of all, I want to add a little bit of light there because I can see the reflection is brighter than the actual thing. So I'm going for a black layer and color dodge. And you see light from the sun is reaching this point. So it makes sense. It makes sense to have there, you know, a little bit of brightness. Here we go. Here we go. A lot better, a lot better. And it's up to us now to decide what to do about the border here. Oh, now I see that this is concrete and this is another like stone shader. Okay, these are different shaders, so that's why we had the difference in between these two areas. Now I will keep it like that. So, and I don't really like the ceiling. Probably it's too bright. Okay, but you know, we can go back in here now. It happens every time you see that you work on something, then you want to get back to something you already done because you feel like, you know, now is wrong. It happens every time you stand up and you go for a walk and then you come back and, you know, your brain get used too soon to images. That's why you need to, you know, stand up sometimes. And we can do this, for example, and we can delete this effect from here because on this wall here we have a lot of sun bouncing off the wall on the ceiling like this. See? And probably even here a little bit because we have light coming from the back. But otherwise I like this a lot more. Yep. And now I will, like, since we are here, I will add some more details. Let me see if I can work this out. So 1 point here, 1 point up there. All right. Now this is a smart object, so we can go back on these anchors any moment. So I'll go again, multiply, and then go down. See? Oh, now this is a lot better. This is a lot better. And we can do something in the last one here. So we are basically, you know, pretending that the outside of the building is a lot darker than the inside. A lot dirtier, I would say, not darker. Because of the humidity, because, you know, because we tend to clean a lot better where we live and not the outside. So it makes more sense, you know. And here we have some problems because this is not a straight line. So see, we need to kind of fix this. And if we can't fix that, we can just select that. So we hide this and we just, you know, select this in more than 1 point. Yeah, it's like a curve because this is not a flat surface, actually. It's bended. So that's why just a straight line is not enough. And then we can even fix this with the brush if we need. Why is not? Oh, I forgot. Made a mistake. Okay, now it's working. Now it's working. I will put a group, put a mask on the group, and then I can delete without touching that mask. I always do that. It's easier because I don't want to touch this mask here. So I put another group. All right. Cool. I'm thinking about what to do now. Okay, we can go back on the water for a second. So let me think. I want to try to smudge a little bit of this water to see how it looks like if it's not that sharp. So what can we do is this. We can take one of the passes we have here, or we can do something which is destructible. So, I mean, if we do something wrong, we are to do this again, but who cares? So what I'm going to do is this. I have the water group, and I will make a, I will hide the finalization, even if now it's not a problem. I will make a, Control-Shift-E layer, so everything is now merged into one new layer, except for the finalization, so all the adjustment too. And I bring this into the mask here, into the group with the water mask. And now I can do this. I can take one image like this one, and I can bring it in, and I can put this in perspective. This is very important. This image has to be in perspective. Okay, so I'll take this like this, and then I will just, increase these lines like this. Like, in order, you see, to follow the perspective of the image. This is very important. Okay, and now I press OK, and I will create a mask with this. So I'll put a layer at the bottom, and then put a black color at the bottom. And this should be very, very, I mean, you can contrast this if you want. See? To make the difference between black and white a little bit stronger. Because this becomes a mask very soon. Okay? And again, you can do very different tests, different, tries with different textures if you want. Now, I will Control-Alt-E, selecting these three layers. So I have a new layer with the select layer merged together, and this one becomes a mask. So I Control-A, Control-C, channels, new channels, Control-V, and then Control-click to get this selection finally. And now that I have this, I can do a couple of things. I can smudge this, or I can mask this and then blur it. There's different things we can do. Now we can just try with the smudge tool. I take a very, very, very big brush. Okay. And what I want to do is to smudge a little bit, just a little bit. Okay. Like this. You see, I'm painting and I'm trying to, smudge the result here and there. Now I deselect. So I want to see the difference. There's any difference? Yeah, it's very subtle, very subtle. Yeah, I like it, but it's probably too subtle. I want this to be stronger. So let me go back on, I press Ctrl-Z to go back, okay, here. And I add this as a mask. And so now I can, just try to blur this and see what happens. I will not blur the mask. I only blur the content. So I unlink the mask and the content. And then I will go with, let me think, radial blur, maybe. Let me see what happens. No, too much. Let me try with Gaussian blur. I don't think it's gonna work because it's not a blur what I'm looking for actually. It's a smudge. So I can smudge with the mask on and we see what happens. No, it's not working well. The reason is it's creating like a double effect because anyway behind this mask, which is like also mid-gray, you will see half of the result from this layer and half of the result from the layer before. So I think that the best way was the one with the smudge tool on the selection. But now that I think about this, we can even go back on this, okay? And no, it's I'm right. We need to do like a selection. Let me invert the selection because maybe I was smudging, you know, the wrong area. The problem about this is that you can't really see what you're doing because of the outline, and because of this smudge tool takes so much to work. Okay, see. Yeah, it's very subtle, almost invisible, but at least is a little bit less strong than before. If you do this like without the mask, you see it gets too much. So you can, if you want, you can just go down with the strength, and you know, maybe do a little bit of a movement in one direction and then go back on the same spot like this. See, like this, and then you go back. See, look at this. You move to the right and then you go to the right again, and it's a little bit less sharp than before. Okay. Now, actually, this could be, you know, because of, you know, the shutter speed of the camera, because of the movement of the water. I expect to see a stronger blur while we look far away in the distance than, you know, close to us. So, you know, it's up to you then to do such a thing, such an example, such a you know, smudge there. One thing I want to try is to, you know, put just a curve with this mask and see what happens. It looks like this is the effect we normally have on glasses when you clean them not very well. So, I mean, this is an effect you can have on glasses. You put a photo in perspective, and then you know, you just use a curve. We can blur this. Let me see, and if we can get some lines. Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. Maybe a little bit, you know, maybe a little bit like this, but really we are playing with you know, with this. It's not really necessary, I would say. I mean, it looks like we have some turbulence behind the water, but it's not the right way to do it. So I will delete this one, and I will keep this, you know, just to, you know, have a little bit of a smudge here and there, and that's it. Now, because we are here in the water, we can just, you know, finalize the water with a little bit of curve, because I feel like that we should, you know, have the water way more contrasted. And I would like to go back on the pool border and make the pool border a little bit darker here, close to us. Question, do we have the area in between? Yes, the swimming pool and the Border, yes, we have it. So here we go. We can add this to the pool border. So I'll add this as a white area to the main mask. See? So also this area will take part of those adjustments, and then now it looks a lot better, a lot better. I like it. Okay, cool. Now let's go and take from the pass. We should have the bloom here in the interactive, even if it's not the right place to keep it. You know, it should be like on a separate pass. But we can work with what we have, and now we can go here in finalization, put it here, and we can just put this in lighten mode. Now everything will become brighter because the image is, you know, brighter. No, it doesn't go in finalization. It goes in effects. Sorry, this is an effects. Oops. Here we go. Here we go. And I know this is working everywhere, but we can have a couple of things to, you know, fix this. We can put a curve and darken everything else except for that area. Okay, so we can just go down like this, and this should be, you know, in lighten mode. See? Now, we don't really care about the other areas, so we just mask this, invert the mask, and with a very soft brush, white color, we paint white. See? So we get the bloom there, and we get the bloom there. And this is the easiest way to do it. Basically, let's make a recap. What I just done. I know that the areas I want to keep from this layer are the brightest of the image, okay? And so I put the layer in lighten. Lighten show you the brightest pixel between this layer and the one beneath, okay? So what to do? If I want to, you know, just to see exactly the brightest area, I want everything else to be darker. So put a mask, I put a curve here and make everything darker. And then for last, I just want to keep, you know, these two areas. So I put a mask, black, and paint white where I want to keep. And if let's say I want to have also, I don't know, something here, okay? Now it's not visible because it's not, you know, there's no information, there's no bright information there. But if I would, I just paint here and I keep also the information from there. But I don't need this. I just did it manually, so it's fine to me. Now, what I see here, which is completely off, is the fact that we have this reflection wrong because we painted some light in front of this facade and we don't have the same lighting here. It should be darker because it's still a reflection, but not that dark. So what to do in here in the effects folder, I will, we can do this in the effects folder or in the, you know, pool folder, I would say. In the effects, normally what I do is I do the relighting of the image. So it's not a problem, you know, to do it here if you want. You can use a mask here anyway. And so let me add a new layer, black layer, color dodge. Cool. And we can use the mask from the swimming pool. Here we go, green. I know that this should be made inside the swimming pool folder, but you know, this is about the final, you know, touch, and is okay for me. And unless, I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can do it. If you know the rules, I would say. See? And now I can just go with a very bright, very, you know, we don't have to add colors. This area is already like orangey. We don't need that add colors with the paint, you know, with the. So I'm painting here. See? You see, it's orange. It's more orange than this area. It's because I'm painting with a slightly orange. See? Colors. So what I'm doing here, I just select the layer and press Ctrl Shift U, and a little bit of color should go away. And it's still there because this color dodge burns the result. So let me think. We can, just put a use saturation on top and go down with the saturation. Let me see if it works, but I don't think it's gonna work. No, it's not gonna work. No, it's not gonna work because this is desaturating the color dodge layer is not working. So we need to, again, Control I and then paint white only here. I mean, to simplify this, we should, add again the same mask. See, same mask, but then, we can just do it here. See? Or like here. So we invert the selection, we paint black. Sorry. Shift F5, black. Okay. So now the effect is only here. See? And we can control this a lot better. Okay. Okay, now it makes sense. So this is the reflection. See? It was too dark. It was too dark. Now it makes more sense. And I'm happy because we have now a very strong, bloom there. So your eyes will go there eventually. Nobody stops you to, put some lights there. Again, like, I don't know, in screen mode. Sometimes I use this trick. I mean, it's kind of a forbidden trick, but, don't tell anybody about this. Of course, I'm joking. You take like a color from here, from, close to the bloom, and I will go for something very, very strong like this. And then I will take, a red color, so very, very low opacity, screen mode, and then just, put a few dots there. And basically you're adding red to the image. Nobody will see it. Nobody will understand you have done it, but you have done it. And it's a little bit reddish there now, but it's very subtle. But trust me, the brain will see it. Okay. And of course you don't have to exaggerate, and everything will be fine. Okay. So now that we are getting closer to the finalization, let's go back in here. Now we already, we don't need to, to do the finalization again, because actually, it's like saying that, we already, how can I say that? We already done the color correction and the contrast while we were making, all the folders. So now this would be, too much. Okay, as you can see. But maybe a little bit of color correction is nice. I mean, the finalization this time we're used to understand where to go, not actually to do a finalization. So we can just get the final image like this. We put this in finalization. We right click on the layer, smart object, and then once the smart object is done, we go filter, camera raw filter, and we do the last things manually. Okay, like, I don't know, a little bit of contrast, a little bit more of contrast. See? We control the highlights. See, to just to have like a glimpse of it. Shadow, a little bit darker. White and black, so I don't touch that stuff. Clarity, if you want, a little bit more of like HDRI effect. Vibrance, and saturation, you can, it's normal to desaturate a little bit the image. It gives a little bit more of realism, and I personally tend to saturate too much. So this is something I do. I desaturate a little bit the final image. And effects, we can go for a little bit of vignetting if you want. And color grading here, no, sorry, color mixer. We can have a final touch on the orange. Maybe we want to saturate only the orange, and maybe we want to try to change slightly the color, see more reddish or more orangey. It's up to you. It depends on the project also, not only to you, only because of you. You can have a little bit of more orange also in the greens and the yellow, because this is a very low sun. Okay, and then okay, and we have a slightly different, a slightly stronger contrast, and I really like it. I was thinking about God rays and stuff like that, but I don't really want to destroy the image. I don't want to touch the image anymore. I like this natural. Is natural, is clean. It's early morning perfection, I would say. And if you look at the final result, we are happy. So this was the original scene, and here we go. And as you can see, I'm pretty happy with the result, because not because of the result itself, but because we had a goal we were trying to achieve a goal, which was to call your attention here. And if you look at the before and after, you can tell that actually we are just bringing you there, and that's why we need post-production. That's why post-production is so important, because you need to convey, you need to bring the eyes where you want, and not where other people want, or in a random place of the image. Okay, you have to tell the story. And even in an image like this, which is very simple, if you do everything in the right way, then you have a story to tell. Okay, and you guide your eyes exactly where you want. That's it, guys. So now it's your turn. You will find the 3.13.2 start PSB, and you can try yourself and see what happens. And if you want, you can also use the pass from the environment with the environment light, with the color lookup on top, to do like your own night version. If you follow the previous videos, you will know how to make it. So good luck with this. And now the next image.